So this next video is about 912 Nick, and I want to make 912 Nick a part of our leader vocabulary, a part of how we think about how we kind of put events together and plan services and all that. And so if you don't know who 912 Nick is, I'm going to explain it to you. 912 Nick is an average student in our 912 ministry. And so here's why I want to explain to you who he is, because I want you guys to know where majority of our students are at, and where they're at spiritually, where they're at in life. And if I can explain it to you, I kind of made up 912 Nick as an example as the average student. So let me tell you more about 912 Nick, so that way you guys can be thinking about the students in our ministry and kind of be preparing for the way they funnel their thoughts through, the way they think about things, the emotional experiences that have happened, where they're at spiritually. All that stuff matters so that we can grow students closer to Jesus and just grow students in general. So let me tell you about Nick. 912 Nick. 912 Nick is one of our average students, and Nick has attended church kind of on and off for part of his life. He doesn't really know Jesus personally, wouldn't be able to tell you his testimony. He kind of believes in God, but you know what? Honestly, he doesn't really care. He's kind of spiritually indifferent. He comes to church to see his friends. He comes on a Wednesday night. He comes to 912 to kind of just be a part of it and just kind of do it. But if you were to ask him to explain who Jesus was or kind of the gospel message, he might be able to do it, but he's kind of in this in-between where he's not really a fully devoted follower of Jesus Christ. He's not there. He's just kind of on the fence. He's just kind of in between. And so let me tell you more about Nick. Nick is involved in an extracurricular activity. Majority of our students, like Nick, they're involved in sports, in band, in dance, in cheerleading, all these different things. They're involved in something. They have something that they go to after school. They have a kind of a clique or a group that they're a part of. Odds are Nick comes from a divorced home with multiple parents. The divorce rate in our country is 50%, and that does not and that includes the church as well. We're no exception. And so odds are Nick comes from divorced parents. He maybe has a stepmom, stepdad, step siblings. His family life is kind of fractured. Many of you guys know that. I have a half sister. I come from that, and so I understand family dynamics. And so 912 Nick, that's kind of who he is. 912 Nick. He is really close with his friends. He uses social media. He's on his phone more than 3 hours a day, which is kind of the average or a little bit higher than that for our students. And so he's on social media, which is a great way to meet him if you watch the last video. But here's what we're talking about. Here's why I want you to talk about Nick, right? Nick likes to come to fun things. He likes to come to 912. He doesn't come to 912 to really hear my messages or hear somebody else speak. He comes to be a part of it with his friends. That's kind of who 912 Nick is. And he's also, here's a key thing, he's looking to connect with students. Students want to have relationships with people. They want to have deep friendships. They want to feel loved. They want to feel connected. Most students want to have a leader who genuinely cares about them. See, they have plenty of people in life that are coaches. They have teachers. They have adults. They have all these things, but really they're looking for somebody to listen and somebody to connect with. And so that's 912 Nick, and that's kind of like our average student that's kind of out here. And so when we say, hey, when we plan an event, we said, hey, would 912 Nick go to this? Hey, when we do something with 912 Nick, who's not kind of already in our ministry, who's kind of on the fence, would he be kind of all in? Would this be kind of a step that he can take? Or from the bigger overarching goal of 912, would this help him grow? And so we've kind of funneled everything through that. We kind of funnel our decisions. And if you guys have led a life group or connected with high school students, you know a lot of students are kind of in this in this area. And so one of our goals is for Nick to have fun. We want Nick to come to church and have fun, because fun builds trust, and trust leads to depth. And that's kind of a part of our ministry that I want you guys to be familiar with. Fun builds trust, and trust leads to depth. And so that's kind of our goal with Nick, and so that we can help him grow, kind of get him from an on the fence kind of person, kind of this in between, and kind of take those next steps and kind of grow in every part of his life. And so here's something that I want to be super clear about. We go to Nick. We don't expect Nick to come to us. And so our goal is, like, we do events, yes, where we invite students to come and we do these things, but when they're here, our job is to go to them, interact with them, grow closer to them, engage them in a conversation, and kind of do those things. And so honestly, Nick, like I said, is looking for that connection, but that doesn't mean he's going to come up and talk to you right away, okay? And so he may be on the fence, he may not trust you at first, he may be kind of there, but our goal is to help grow Nick and to grow closer to him and give him an environment where he can grow and kind of take those next step in his faith and challenge him to take those next steps in his faith with Jesus. And so that's 912 Nick. We'll talk more about him throughout the time that we serve, or how would Nick be able to pay for camp? How would Nick be able to go to this event? How would Nick feel about doing this prayer night, this worship night, that kind of stuff? Does Nick know how to worship? So we funnel a lot of questions through 912 Nick and kind of through his brain. So I wanted you guys to be familiar with him. If you have any questions about him or kind of how we do things, please let me know, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next couple videos.